Now what we're going to do for the steak portion of this video, I have 2 small steaks right here. I consider a small steak like 4 to 6 ounces. So I have 2 of those right here. And we're going to have to marinate it for a little bit before we can cook it. Now I'm going to add probably 3 to 4 tablespoons of Dale's low sodium seasoning marinade. It is one of the best things you can put on a steak. That is what we do at our house all the time. It is just fantastic. Now we're going to have probably 2 tablespoons full of liquid smoke. Gives a very smoky flavor even if you're not on a grill, because when it's winter outside like it is here, it's just so cold outside to grill, so we're using a grill pan today. There we go. Now we're going to move these to the side. We're going to add probably a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Just sprinkle a little bit all over that. And just add just a tiny bit of Worcestershire sauce. It's probably 2 teaspoons. On top, I'm going to add probably a teaspoon of onion powder. I'm going to add this is half a teaspoon of ground ginger. Gives it a little Asian flair to it. It's in a lot of Asian dishes, but this is very great on this. I promise. It's awesome. You can find this in the spice section. All of these are in the spice section, except for the sauces. Those are near the barbecue sauce in your supermarket. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. It's again probably 1 teaspoon. Just a little bit of salt. You have a lot of salt in the Worcestershire sauce and the Dale's, even though we use low sodium. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. It looks like a lot, but I love a lot of garlic on my steak. It just adds so much flavor. Now you're going to add a little bit of ground pepper. I personally like the McCormick pepper grinders when you're doing with this, but this is what we had, so this is what you can just use whatever kind of black pepper you have. And this is probably half a teaspoon. Now you're going to let that marinate for about 10 minutes. And while you're doing that, you can get your grill pan over here getting all warmed up. And I have 4 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan. I have it on low right now because they're not ready yet. Okay, now after your steak is done marinating, I've cut it up into 2 pieces so it's easier to get out. Now I'm going to just stick it on there. Make sure it's all bubbling and stuff. I have it on a medium to high heat. I have it not all the way high, but it's pretty high heat. You can stir these around a little bit. And it's probably going to take 4 minutes on each side. Maybe 5. These are little thick steaks, so maybe 5 minutes on each side. Now what we're doing is I put it on low heat. What you need to do is take your pan off your burner. And it should, after you seared it, I want to tell you about searing. Searing is when you cook it on high heat for a short amount of time, so that way you get the good grill marks. I have some right here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and take them off and put them on the plate. And Make sure that everything is off. Put this to. Okay, now what you've done is you need, after you take them off, you need to let them rest a little bit so that way the juices don't run out and then you'll like be left with a piece of dry, tough meat. It'll just be awful. So, also I wanted to say is I didn't get to a side dish today because I was been very busy with trying to do everything at once, and so I didn't have time. But instead of having a side dish, I do have a gift that you can make yourself at home, and that is part of the video. So we're going to come to that soon. So also I want to test it. Test the steak. This is cooked just the way I like it. I like a little bit of pink in mine. I mean, it's so good. It is so good. Okay, so now that our cupcakes have cooled out, we're getting them cooled down right now, so that way you need to make sure they're cooled for at least 10 to 15 minutes, so that way that your cream cheese icing doesn't run off and it's not everywhere and messy. So we're letting this cool right now, like we're having our steak rest.